Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to another Wild Rift video, and today's video is gonna be a special one. I have a special guest, which you will see later on in the video, and just a quick little introduction. The special guest is Shay, who is a Soraka one-trick, a Soraka lover, an absolute basically, I was gonna make a Soraka guide. I'm quickly gonna tell you what happened. I was gonna make a Soraka video, She sent me like a whole essay. Like, I believe the total amount of pages that she sent me about how to play Soraka is like 10 to 15 pages about what to build, how to play her, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, you could just make the video yourself if you want to. She did. She did. And yeah, I've put it in this video as well. And I hope you guys enjoy. So let's get to it.
Hello guys, and welcome to a long-awaited Soraka tutorial guide video gameplay. You know it. If you're wondering who is this on your screen, then I just want to say hi, I'm Shay, and I've been playing Wild Rift ever since it came out, and I've been maining Soraka for a bit over a year now, and I just want to say I've tried everything that you can possibly do on this champion. I've tried every single build that you can possibly build on her, and that is why I am here today to present you the best build for her. And you can trust me on that. So let's jump right into it with the first things first, and that is the runes. So for the first rune, either Font of Life or Airy, depending on the matchup. Are you playing aggressively this match? And do you need a little bit more healing? Go Font of Life. Do you need shielding, or are you playing defensively? Go Airy. It really just depends, and whatever playstyle fits you. For the second rune, I cannot stress this enough, but you need to go Triumph. You absolutely need to go Triumph. Soraka does not need damage. She needs sustain and healing, and Triumph gives you exactly that. Soraka is one of the easiest champion, maybe even the easiest champion to get assist on. And if you have Triumph, every time you get assist, you will get HP back. And that also means that you get to heal your allies, which also means extended fights. And also means it can probably save you in sticky situations. So just get a Triumph. It's so good for you. It makes sense for her. As for the third rune, it's really optional. It's really up to you. Whatever floats your boat, depending on the matchup. Do you need a bone plating? Do you need a Hunter Titan? Do you need... what else is there? A second wind? Do that. It's up to you. As for the fourth rune, guys, I would really recommend a Mana Flow Band, because the thing with Soraka is her W scales 10% maximum of her HP, meaning it does not matter how much health you build on her, she will still, every time you press W, she will take 10% of your maximum HP regardless. So it does not matter. However, her W has a cost reduction every time you max it, which is why I recommend that you max W first before anything else. And I also did do my research about why W is much better than Q max or anything, especially if you're playing support, a healer support. Her W has 100% cost reduction when you fully max it, meaning every time you land Q, you will heal for free. Now that we know that she can actually heal without losing any HP, that's great. But that also means she will be using a lot of mana in a short period of time, because she constantly is using her abilities. So that's why I recommend Mana Flow Band. However, if you are better than everybody else and you somehow know how to manage your mana better than everybody, then sure, I would probably say Hunter Genius, Sweet Tooth. Those are really the only two I would go for. Now on to the most exciting part, guys, and that is the build. So the first things first thing you want to build on her, first thing you should even be thinking about, first thing you should rush, is a Staff of Flowing Waters. Guys, don't even question it, don't even ask, just get a Staff of Flowing Waters as your first item and you are good to go. Like, honestly, I've done 1k healing just from staff alone. That's how crazy, insane this item is. This item is so good for her because not only is she a scaling champion that has such high cooldowns early game, but once you get staff, that is also a super cheap item, by the way. Once you get staff, it just shaves all of that off because staff gives you immediate stats and your cooldowns are highly reduced. So it's so worth it, and it allows you to come a little bit more online early game than if you were to pick another item as a first item. As for boots, you really only want to go CDR boots because not only does it give you 15 more ability haste, but it also reduces 15% of the cooldown of your spells. Meaning it will also reduce 15% of the cooldown of your flash, heal, exhaust, which is crucial, which you need. So now for the actual enchants, the best pick is going to be Locket in majority of the games that you have. Locket is just that point click item that gives all of you and your nearby allies a shield, which gives you enough time to heal you and your allies up from all the burst damage and ignites and all that. So in general, Locket is gonna be the best item for you and the most of the matchups that you're gonna be in. However, there are other items, like for example, Redemption. If you ask me, personally, I don't use Redemption because I am so focused on landing my Qs and my positioning that also having to focus on placing my Redemption right and also waiting for it to land, it's just too much in my hands. But if you are good with Redemption, then go for it, sweetie. I'm not stopping you. However, if you were to pick Redemption, I recommend that you either go Athene's Unholy Grail before or after Redemption, because those two items really synergize well with each other and it will just give you a lot more value for your active item. Other enchants are kind of situational, like do you need a Shadows? Do the enemy have a lot of mobility and you kind of want to slow them down? Go Shadows. Do you need a Stasis? Stasis, I would say, is situational because not only is it an expensive enchant, but it also has such a high cooldown that you really only want to pick it if you know that the enemy team is hard focusing you and you just can't do anything about it. So Protobelt is something that I actually recently picked up and it's so good, guys, because like Soraka, the champion itself, is not hard to play, but the hardest part about her is her positioning. You constantly have to be aware of your positioning at all times. The Protobelt is really just an extra flash and you can use it to get out of sticky situations, or because her W range is much shorter than her Q and E range, your allies kind of have to be relatively close to you and able to get healed. So Protobelt just also helps with that. For the second item, guys, I love this item so much. I feel like this item is underrated. I don't see a lot of support players build this. You guys need to pick it up right now. So let's say Staff is her core item, right? Athene comes second. Athene is also a core item for Soraka. So with Athene, how it works, when you deal damage to a champion, it stores the amount of damage that you do to them and it converts it to healing. As I said, guys, she is one of the easiest champions to get assist on. And if you have your Triumph with your Athenes, that means every time you get an assist, you will have HP back from Triumph, right? But you will also have a full stack on Athenes every time you get an assist. So combine those two together, you literally heal for free. Those two items synergize so well with each other that you have to pick it up. You have to. Definitely do buy Athenes. It does so much for your healing and it stacks up so easily. And not only that, guys, but it also gives you 40 magic resist. And if you use that as your second item, guys, that's before they even buy Magic Penetration. So it's definitely worth it. And then we have Harmonic Echo. And the thing with Harmonic Echo is, not only does it give you mana, but the passive of it is so good as well. So Harmonic, it adds a little bit more extra to your healing as well. And the passive on it is so great because it heals 3 nearby allies. And that also means, because you have Staff as a first item, that also means that all your 3 nearby allies are also gonna get the Staff passive. And then for fourth, I have Rabadon's Death Cap. I don't even want to have to explain why Rabadon's is such a good item on her. But here we are. Her W has a 70% AP scaling, and if you get a Rabadon's Death Cap with that, your healing is going to hurt. Your healing is going to hurt so much that the enemies will not be able to do anything. But the reason why I put this as my fourth item is because it is expensive. It is really expensive, but it is so worth. So as for fifth item, it's really optional what you want to build here. You can put it as your second, third, fourth item. It's really up to you what you want to put here. I just put in Ardent Sensor because it's the most common one, and Ardent Sensor is good. It buffs your allies and it works well with Harmonic Echo as well. Ardent Sensor is very good against anti-heal. So Ardent Sensor itself isn't really going to do anything for your healing, but it is going to buff your allies, so it is quite good against anti-healing. So that is the ultimate build that I have for Soraka, and you're probably wondering, Shay, where is the Rod of Ages Warmog? If you're interested in reading about why Rod of Ages Warmog isn't really the best fit for her, then there is a link in the description below that explains everything you need to know about this build and why it is not the best build for her. I don't want to talk too much about Rod of Ages Warmog, but all I can say is you are building a tank item that costs like 2,900 gold just because you cannot land your Qs. It's literally just because of that. It's not worth it, sweetie. Like, you have Harmonic Echo, you have Triumph, you can have Font of Life. Do you need a Warmog? No, you don't. So it is not worth paying that much for an item just because you cannot land your Qs. And that's the best build that I have for you guys. Now, do keep in mind that I constantly try new builds on her, and these are just the 4 items that I have consistently built on her, and it just works every single time. And I suggest that you guys try the same. Just a little bit more before I go, Soraka is a really underrated support, and I think because either a lot of people don't know how to play her, but also a lot of people don't know how to play with her. Soraka is not supposed to take any damage. Soraka is not supposed to tank damage for you. You are supposed to tank damage for Soraka no matter how squishy you are. If you tank damage for Soraka, she will make sure that she will do the best in her abilities to keep you alive. So do keep in mind, she is a backline support and she cannot support you if her team does not support her. So that's really all I have to say, guys. I cannot wait for Hells to react to my gameplay video. But let's see. I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Alright, on to the gameplay. I mean, what else am I supposed to say after that intro? What else is there to say? Like, let me just tell you something real quick. Shay, as you can see, she's just flexing her being top 2 Soraka. She came to me and she was like, alright, I want a Soraka. I want to help you with the Soraka guide, right? And I was like, sure, you know, you can tell me about how to play the champion. You know, like most players do. This girl sent me like a whole essay of like 5 full pages. First of all, explaining why Rod of Ages sucks. Then another few pages explaining exactly how to build Soraka. Then a few more pages explaining how to play Soraka. and then basically recorded like a million Soraka videos, recorded or reviewed every single one of them, and then sent me this one for it to be perfect, to show you guys the mistakes, the good plays, the cool things, everything on Soraka. So yeah, for you Soraka mains out there, make sure you give the video make sure you give the video a like if you want to. And yeah, again, I'm still doing a skin giveaway, giving away 8 legendary skins this month. Put a comment under the video to enter. So now let's enjoy the gameplay. So, Soraka. This is a champion that I'm sure 80% of you, or like even 90% of you, plays wrong. And what I mean with plays wrong, I used to play Soraka wrong as well, up until I met Shay in a ranked match. I used to play Soraka wrong. So you can still be good at Soraka, but play her wrong. And what I mean with that is you really have to understand the point of Soraka, right? Like, Soraka is not the support that stands in the front line. Soraka is not the support that deals damage. Like, there is a lot of things that Soraka doesn't provide. Soraka is not the support that provides hard CC. These are all the things that you're missing on Soraka, right? Like, if you look at Nami, for example, Nami has that ultimate, her first ability to knock up, instant healing with her second ability. Soraka also has instant healing, but it's not the same. Yet again, like, you have to truly understand how it works, because when you heal with Soraka, without hitting your first ability, it costs health, right? And that's not how it works. So let me just sip my water real quick. So besides what Shay said, I'm gonna do my own story here, right? Because yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys exactly how to play Soraka. So let's see. This is exactly how you want to lane with Soraka, right? Soraka is actually not that strong early game. Contrary to that, she's actually quite weak. And the way that you want to be laning with Soraka, exactly like this, right? You constantly try to hit the enemy with your first ability, and it can be hard. A quick tip on how to make it a bit easier to hit, by the way. First of all, if you're up against champions like Alistar, Braum, or Leona, basically melee champions, they are generally going to be much easier to hit because they're melee champions, right? And when they go in, you know exactly where they go in. It's just easier than ranged champions. Secondly, another way to be able to hit it a bit easier is you can basically wait for the enemy to go for a minion. So basically, if the enemy Caitlyn tries to go for a cannon minion, she's gonna step up, and you can clearly see where she's gonna walk, right? And then you can predict where she's gonna go, and boom, easy hit on your first ability. Right after you hit your first ability, you heal instantly with your second ability, because it's gonna be the cost reduction is very low. As you can see, she can basically heal her ADC for free, right? And the whole game changes when you get Staff of Flowing Water. That's like the breaking point of... Well, I'm saying breaking point, but like, I mean, that's basically the moment where you enter the mid-game Soraka, where she becomes incredibly powerful, right? When you get the Staff of Flowing Waters, and you hit the enemy with your first ability once, you can actually heal your allies twice. Keep in mind, you do need Ionian Boots of Lucidity as well for that. And you need to max your second ability first. If you do all that, and you know, you have the boots, you have the Staff of Flowing Waters, whenever you hit an enemy with your first ability, you will be able to heal your allies twice. Because the rejuvenation maintains on Soraka for 2 seconds, and in those 2 seconds you can heal twice, if you have the cooldown reduction. So basically with Soraka, you kind of want to survive until that point, and to get to that point, you need to spend 3,500 gold. Because the Staff of Flowing Waters is 2,500, and then the Ionian Boots of Lucidity is 1,000 gold as well. So when you get those items, that's when you've enabled the like kind of mid-late game Soraka, right? And as you can see, Shay on the Soraka, she really likes to get sweeper, and honestly I like this a lot, especially if your Dragon Laner takes minions, takes the wards as well, because when you play support and you're sweeping out you're sweeping out wards, and like you sweep it out and then someone else takes it, you and the one that takes it both get the 30 gold. This has been confirmed by Shay. I knew this as well, but I didn't know it for sure, but she confirmed this. So let's take a look at what's happening here, right? She just ulted because she saw that her ally was low, and Soraka's ult, honestly, I love this ability. And this is also going to be the ability that's going to give you the most assists, right? Like, whenever, like, the thing about Soraka is, and the reason why Shay says that Triumph is incredible on Soraka, because even though you're probably not going to be utilizing the damage bonus from Triumph, the reason why Triumph is so amazing is when you heal allies, it counts as an assist. As in, like, if you use your ultimate, you heal everyone in your team. So when one of those people gets a kill on the enemy, you get an assist. So what's gonna happen in a team fight, when you use your ultimate, you heal everyone. So whoever dies in the enemy gives you an assist. What happens then, of course, is you're gonna be healing up from that assist. And Soraka is, everyone's gonna go for you, right? Like when you play Soraka, everyone is gonna be going for you. That's the way that Soraka works. And that's how you have to play against the Soraka. They want to kill Soraka first, and The way that you can survive it more easily is, of course, because of that triumph. Because when you get to a low amount of HP, you're gonna heal up 10% of your missing HP, which is absolutely huge. So right here, you know, she's moving to go to the Rift Herald, helping her team. As a support, you want to be roaming around, of course. You know, you don't just want to stay in your lane. And you know what I really love about Soraka? The bonus movement speed that you get when an ally is under 35% health. This bonus movement speed actually triggers from very far away, like surprisingly far away. So if an ally is at a low amount of HP, you can get there super fast. And this is really good for Soraka. Like, you're really gonna need this actually. So look at how she's playing here. Look at her positioning. This is quite dangerous, but she does have a flash to potentially go over the wall if she needs to. She doesn't have to here because Olaf is not focusing her. But if the Olaf went on the Soraka, she would have just flashed over the wall and still survived. As you can see now, utilizing the bonus movement speed, but what I was trying to say, when you play Soraka, you need to be behind everyone, right? If the enemy goes for a dive on you, you need to make sure they have to go through hell to reach you. And what I mean with that is they have to go through your front line, through your carries, and then reach you. And basically, they would be dead, right? And then if they reach you, you still have the tools to escape. You have a flash. You have your third ability. By the way, your third ability is great to root the enemy and to silence the enemy in place. Another thing, by the way, when you play Soraka, the third ability, this is quite an underrated ability, right? Like, we all know Soraka heals, we all know about that, but the third ability is incredible as well. When you play her against a champion like Alistar or Leona or any types of engaging support, or like a champion like Yasuo, when those champions dive your teammates, you can throw down your third ability, you will silence them so they cannot do anything. So when an Alistar uses a headbutt, he can actually not knock up the enemy because he will be silenced. That's the first thing. Or when a Yasuo knocks up an ally and he stands on top of the ally and he's silenced, he cannot ult. These are all very important things to understand about Soraka and like make such a change to the game. So let's take a look. She actually decides to go for the gank. Soraka is not good at ganking, but let's take a look at what happens here actually. It worked out actually, wow. Wukong did a surprising amount of damage. So what she did is, she actually used her third ability behind the Riven. Oh my god. I mean, look at that. Look at how crazy that is. This is what happens when you have the Staff of Flowing Waters. This is the... you can just constantly heal your allies. Wow. Yeah, now with the Ionian Boots as well. Now is the point where what I was talking about is now she can heal twice, right? Like whenever she hits her first ability on the enemy now, she gets 2 heals for free instead of 1. This is the moment where Soraka gets strong and you have to utilize this. And please guys, don't build the World of Ages Warlock build. I've tried this as well. This build is way stronger. But just so you know, this build is hard to play. This is not an easy build to play. Shay makes it easy because she's currently the top 2 Soraka and pretty much only plays Soraka. So don't expect similar results when you play Soraka for the first time. Because as she said... Ooh, look at that. That's what Soraka can do. Because... Ooh, I need to sneeze. As she said, Soraka's positioning is incredibly hard. I have to sneeze, but it didn't come out. And there we go. You see, this is the problem. Olaf goes for you. He still kills her, unfortunately, as you can see. But like, this is the thing, right? This is what's gonna happen when you play Soraka. The enemies are gonna dive you. The enemies are gonna make sure they kill you. But exactly the positioning that she had, she made sure that Olaf would give his life for killing Soraka, right? Like, that was the positioning that you need to have as a Soraka. She was standing all the way in the backline, flashed away, proto belt. Olaf sure got the kill, but Olaf even had to burn his flash. But then Olaf died and her team got the dragon. That is correct, right? Like, it's okay to die like that. Of course, it's not okay to die for free, but like that, it's okay. And that's the positioning that you need to have as a Soraka. You need to make sure that the enemies just cannot reach you. And if they reach you, they should lose the team fight. So let's take a look at this. You know, now she's gonna sweep it out, of course. Yeah, there we go. And she's gonna give it to her allies, and they both get 30 gold, as you can see. Boom, there we go. So that's like 120 gold. Boom, just like that on the team. So right now, you know, just basically waiting to hit the first ability. Just so you know, by the way, when you use your first ability over the wall when you play Soraka, you get vision over the wall as well. So you can actually quickly see whether or not the enemy is there. Enemies actually dropped the Rift Herald. That thing is probably gonna hit the turret. Yep. Rip. So another thing with Soraka, you constantly want to be paying attention to your allies' HP, right? Especially, like, basically just put your eyes on the minimap right there. And whenever you see one of your teammates is close to an enemy, you have to look over. Because if your ally gets low, you have your ultimate to save your ally. And not only to save your ally, you're also going to be applying the bonuses that you have. If you have a Staff of Flowing Waters, you will apply the Staff of Flowing Waters. If you have an Ardent Sensor, you will apply the bonus of the Ardent Sensor. So not only do you heal your ally, you also give those bonuses. So keep that in mind, guys. Olaf is going to go for it. Positioning is way too aggressive. And she's dead. Yeah, there you go. So this is not how you want to position as a Soraka. As you can see, you will get punished for it severely. If you make only a slight positioning mistake, and I could clearly see that she was overextending right there, you will get punished for it. And when you die, all of your teammates die. Because when you play with a Soraka, Soraka enables everything. Like as I said, Soraka doesn't have any CC. Soraka doesn't have any Soraka doesn't have anything except for heals. So if you cannot heal, your team is gonna die. It's essentially a 4 versus 5. So keep that in mind. When you play Soraka, your positioning is key. Absolute key. And if you position wrongly, even slightly too aggressive, like she did in the last fight, you and your teammates are gonna get punished for it massively. Like massively. So let's take a look at, I wonder how the late game is gonna go, how the positioning in the late game. I love how she constantly sweeps out farm. This is really important, right? Like sweeping out the wards, so the enemy doesn't have as much vision. Really, really good. This Graga's name is Daddy, by the way. That's kind of funny. He's playing a mommy champion though. This is the queen of Wild Rift. Can't call yourself Daddy. Gragas is on the opposite side, guys. Oh, there is another thing that you can do with Soraka, by the way. As I said, you can see over the wall. So right as you can see, you can throw your first ability over the wall and then pop the vision plant right there. That's also another thing that you can do with Soraka. It's the small little details, but it's incredibly helpful because when you pop the plant, you basically don't have to waste your own wards to pop it. You can just use your first ability on Soraka and pop it for free. Basically deny the enemy's vision. Really, really important. I mean, you play Soraka like this with a sweeper and constantly hitting their vision plant, you're going to be denying them a lot of vision. You're going to be providing a lot of value on that Soraka, guys. So right there, Yasuo in the top lane, 3 people in the bot lane. She's actually... Ooh, look, Olaf in the top lane. Look. She's waiting for it, right? She's obviously going to ult the Yasuo. Let's take a look. Boom, there goes the ult. And that ult saved the ass of Yasuo. That's what I'm talking about. This is the eyes that you need to have as a Soraka. You're basically the mother of your children. Like, all of your teammates are your children, right? And you are the mother. You need to be able to heal them from everywhere. You need to see them from everywhere. And you need to be prepared for anything and everything. Like, the best Soraka players will always use their ultimate at the right time, right? Like, they will always see whenever there is anyone on the map that needs it, boom, she uses it and saves the day with that ultimate. Because it heals a lot when the enemy is at a low amount of HP. Like, the lower, or if your ally is, I believe, below 35% health or 50%, I don't know the exact number, the healing is doubled or like just increased, basically. The healing is increased massively. So you don't randomly want to use it. You want to use it when your allies are a bit low. Boom, there we go. By the way, you also heal yourself up when you hit the enemy, by the way. Just so you know, like hitting that first ability is way more important than you would ever think. It's like important to reduce the cost of your heals and important to heal you up yourself. So let's take a look at this. She actually didn't ult the Gragas. So here, look at the heals. Look at the heals. Boom. He has anti-heal applied to him, by the way. That's why she's not healing him a lot. Ultimate. Heal. 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 Look at that. Like, there was anti-heal applied to the Wukong. That's why the healing wasn't as strong. And that's why she talked about the Ardent Sensor, by the way. Like, you can go for an Ardent Sensor. Right there, she's testing some other builds, like she said, right? She's basically testing out a lot of different builds. And the reason that she's going for this item, which is the Crystalline Reflector, is because the enemies, actually, the enemies are not even full AD. Not quite sure what she was thinking going for this item, perhaps just testing it out. But the build that she mentioned is basically the build that she always used to go for, because I've played some duo queue with her because she's a really good player and a nice person. And the builds that I've seen her go for is the exact build that she talked about in the intro, right? Which is the Staff of Flowing Waters, Athene's Unholy Grail, always after Harmonic Echo, Ardent Sensor, Rabadon's Death Cup. That's basically the build that she pretty much always goes for. There we go again. See, denying the vision. Super, super good. Like, it may seem like a tiny little detail, but at the end of the day, it matters so much. It's really, really good to do. What's gonna happen here? Yeah, their teammates are engaging. She's of course looking on, and she's gonna silence because, like, if an enemy uses stasis, that's another thing that Soraka can do. You can just throw your third ability on top of that enemy, and he will never be able to escape. Whatever that he uses, you just cannot escape. You cannot even flash away because you're silenced. So keep that in mind, guys. That's such a huge thing to silence the enemy, because the enemy literally cannot do anything. There we go again. Ult used. Barely saved her ally, still died unfortunately, but the ult provided a lot of value here. Yet again, boom, boom. Gragas is abandoning her for some reason. If the Gragas hadn't abandoned her, she would have actually lived. So this is kind of the problem with Soraka as well, by the way. It's like, wow, the damage from TF though, but a lot of people don't know how to play with a Soraka, right? Like this Gragas doesn't know how to play with a Soraka. He didn't understand that Soraka was gonna save his ass, and he ran away and left the Soraka alone. And of course, if the Soraka is left vulnerable, she dies. So that is it for the game. I really hope you guys enjoyed this full Soraka guide. Like, I just wanted to make a video because I promised it to you guys in the tier list video, but oh, here we are with a full guide. So I hope she shows some stats. Imagine having like so much mastery that you just don't even get anything anymore. It's kind of funny. So how much damage did everyone do? Without, of course, flexing the 1024 healing done per minute, right? So thank you very much for watching, and let me know what you think of this video, and I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye bye.